Why do many Hispanics support politicians who openly express disdain for their communities? It's a complex issue rooted in a mix of identity, culture, and socioeconomic factors. Some Hispanic voters prioritize issues like the economy, jobs, and national security over the personal views of candidates. They may believe that aligning with a certain party will ultimately benefit their families and communities, even if it seems contradictory. Additionally, there's the influence of cultural conservatism. Many Hispanics share values around family, faith, and hard work that can align with the policies of politicians who may not support them personally. Fear and misinformation also play significant roles. Some voters may feel threatened by the idea of change or the unknown, leading them to choose candidates who promise stability, even if those candidates have a history of discriminatory rhetoric. Lastly, there's the impact of community and peer pressure. In certain circles, voting for a specific party can be seen as a loyalty to cultural identity, regardless of the candidate's positions on immigration or social issues. Understanding this phenomenon requires looking beyond surface-level assumptions. It's essential to engage in meaningful conversations about values, priorities, and the real implications of political choices. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, please subscribe to our channel for more insights. Join me as I dive deep into the history of Jamestown, Virginia, and take on the challenge of uncovering the truth about what racist whites did to Hispanic blacks. Can I piece together this forgotten past? Jamestown, Virginia, a place where the earliest American settlers established their roots, marking the beginning of a new era. But, as we explore this period, it's crucial to understand the complex dynamics between the white settlers and the Hispanic blacks who were also part of this emerging society. In Jamestown, Hispanic blacks faced a plethora of systemic challenges, crafted by the very hands of their oppressors. Laws were designed to dehumanize, and social hierarchies were constructed to marginalize. The institution of slavery not only exploited their labor but also stripped them of their dignity. These discriminatory laws ensured that Hispanic blacks were relegated to the lowest rungs of society, with limited access to resources, education, and opportunities. The social segregation they faced was further exacerbated by the racial prejudices of the time. White settlers saw themselves as superior, and their biases were reflected in the treatment of Hispanic blacks. They were subjected to physical and emotional abuse, forced labor, and separation from their families. The pain and suffering they endured were the direct result of a system designed to maintain white supremacy. Within this racist landscape, Hispanic blacks struggled to find their voice, to assert their identity, and to fight for their rights. They were forced to navigate this treacherous terrain, often walking a tightrope between submission and rebellion. Their stories, though often silenced or erased, hold the power to reveal the darker aspects of Jamestown's history. One of the most poignant stories from this era is that of Anita Argueta, a Hispanic black woman who fought against the injustice meted out to her and her community. Her brave resistance in the face of overwhelming oppression serves as a testament to the strength and resilience of Hispanic blacks. Despite the odds stacked against them, they continued to push for equality, justice, and freedom. Anita's story is a powerful reminder of the untold struggles faced by Hispanic blacks in Jamestown. Her journey serves as a symbol of hope, highlighting the human spirit's ability to persevere even in the darkest of times. It also underscores the significance of acknowledging this history and its relevance to the racial issues that continue to plague our society today. Another pivotal event that sheds light on the experiences of Hispanic blacks is the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in 1619. This marks a turning point in the history of Jamestown, as it introduces a new wave of racial tensions and power struggles. The forced migration of enslaved Africans further complicated the social dynamics, as they were thrown into the mix of an already volatile society. The struggles of Hispanic blacks, as they navigated this complex web of racial tensions, are a testament to their unyielding spirit. They continued to fight for their rights, often forming alliances with other marginalized groups. Their stories, though often overlooked, hold the power to inform our understanding of the present. In Jamestown, the systemic racism that pervaded every aspect of life was a constant reminder to Hispanic blacks of their place in society. Despite this, they continued to resist, to fight, and to assert their identity. Their stories serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of acknowledging this history and its relevance to the racial issues that continue to affect us today. In summary, the history of Hispanic blacks in Jamestown, Virginia, is a complex tapestry of struggles, resistances, and triumphs. It's a story that highlights the darker aspects of our collective past, but it also serves as a beacon of hope, inspiring us to work towards a more equitable society. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the past. Take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're interested in exploring more topics like this, be sure to check out our recommended videos in the description box.
When I was little, they used to call me Negrita or Little Black, Blackie, and I bought my mom a book called Black Pride so she would wake up, but she didn't want to read it, and it's driving me crazy that she won't read it. While it's sad that this commenter experienced this opens up a bigger discussion about the intellectual laziness that I mentioned in my previous video. I personally believe that Latinos are resistant to change because of our attachment to our traditions and our culture. And while there are beautiful, lovely things that are embedded within our culture and within our tradition, we must also be able to criticize things that come from nefarious origins. Things such as calling people out based on their skin color. Not to mention, your own family not wanting to learn more about why something they've been saying to you your entire life could be offensive to you is another example of this traditional mindset that we have, which is basically honoring your parents regardless of your self-respect, regardless of how you feel about it, which has been particularly damaging for people who have marginalized identities, whether they're LGBTQ+. In the cases that I've been highlighting, you have a darker skin tone than some of your family members, and they feel like it's okay to ostracize you or just say little things because they're your family out of love. Hey, negro negra is just scratching the surface of the racial nicknaming and the external physical characteristic nicknaming in the Latino community. So if you want me to talk about that, we can talk about that in another video. I love being Black. I love being Latina. I love being Afro-Latina. I don't understand what people don't understand about that. Because I love my culture, because I love my identity so much, that's why I want to make it better for other people who are like me. A lot of people seem confused and surprised about how 60% of Latino voters voted for Donald Trump after he's made countless racist and xenophobic remarks against not only Latinos, but also immigrants from other countries. But Afro-Latinos, we're not surprised at all. Racism is alive and well in the Latino culture with things like mejorar la raza, which means to better the race, which is like street eugenics. Calling your family members based on their skin tone like negro, negrita as a loving term, but it's obviously derogatory because the anti-blackness is so prevalent. And the craziest part, if we were able to break down the Afro-Latino votes from the white and mixed Latinos, we'd probably see that Afro-Latinos inflated the Harris support from Latinos.
I was asked if there is racism in the Dominican Republic. This is a difficult subject because racial discrimination in my country is normalized, and most of the people don't think we have a racism issue, which makes the dialogue difficult. But yes, there is racism in the Dominican Republic, and there is colorism too. I realized that for people outside our cultural context, to hear that on a country where the majority of people is Black or mulatto, there is racism sounds absurd. But hear me out. This is a consequence of colonialism. During colonial dominion, there is an imposition of language, religion, and culture of the colonizers. So we were taught to believe that everything that was Black or African was bad or ugly. Follow me for more.
Apparently you can't be racist towards your family members. Be so serious. I'm talking about racial nicknaming in the Latinx community, and I've been specifically talking about negro and negrita because I'm Black. Y'all haven't even let me get to the indigenous hate. You haven't even let me get to people calling anyone that looks slightly Asian Chinese. But let me talk about anti-Blackness again. Pa que se te meta. This racial nicknaming custom is relative and subjective to the environment that you're in your country, and in your community. O sea, if you literally don't have Black people in your family, people will start choosing the darkest person in the family to call them negro or negra or moreno morena, and that moreno or morena could literally be like a brunette in a family of blonde people. I'm not saying it's okay to be like, oh, blanca, like calling people out for being white. I'm just confused about where the critical thinking has gone when we think about why we use these words. Language is a tool. A tool is something that you use to do something else. What are you trying to do? If you're trying to convey affection, are you not creative? Do you not have other things to be affectionate with? Why is it so difficult to understand that the whole concept of race, the whole concept of trying to label people based on the color of their skin is a colonial practice? Some people have literally commented that they've been called these names by random people on the street. So I'm literally just talking about family, so maybe people can understand and have a little bit more compassion. But what about when a random person that doesn't know you just randomly calls you out in the street based off what you look like? When you try to erase the origins of these customs, then you have dumb people trying to reclaim terms that would never have been used for them back when they were created. So you have people who are literally white saying, oh, they call me negra and it makes me feel so special, blah, blah, blah. Like, girl, what are you talking about? When you try to erase the origins of these customs, then you have dumb people trying to reclaim terms that would never have been used for them back when they were created. So you have people who are literally white saying, oh, they call me negra and it makes me feel so special, blah, blah, blah. Like, girl, what are you talking about? Not exactly sure what it means to act African, but as an Afro-Latina living in the United States, I can tell that there are some parallels between American culture and Latin American culture. One of those being taking cultural elements that started in black communities, repackaging it, stripping it from its black cultural roots, and then saying it's part of mainstream culture. In the US, we've seen this with things like African American Vernacular English, or AAVE, as well as hip-hop. Ends up happening is that there's a dilution of credit of the communities that birth certain things. Similarly, Afro-Latinos are responsible for reggaeton in Latin American culture. The roots of reggaeton can be traced to Jamaicans who came to Panama to work on the Panama Canal. And they brought that reggae. Father of reggaeton, El General, is an Afro-Panamanian who combined Panamanian music with the Jamaican reggae that was brought down to the Canal Zone. We all know that the biggest reggaeton artists right now are not Panamanian. In fact, reggaeton is associated with Puerto Rico. And I love my Boricuas. But when you have Colombian artists like J Balvin getting the Afro-Latin Artist of the Year award, that's crazy. Let's tie it back to the American thing. 2023 MTV Video Music Awards, Selena Gomez won the first Afrobeats award that they had along with Rema for Calm Down. Now, I love Calm Down, but you know he had his own version before Selena jumped on it? So a Mexican American who has been in the US, who's not Afro-Mexican, who's not even Black American, who's not African, had to be on the track for Rema to win the Afrobeats award. This is what I mean when I say black contributions are like overshadowed and it's stripped from its origins and other people are getting credit and we're just saying like, oh, like that's fine.
So why when Latinos come together, they only help each other, but when black people come together and create programs, it's always for black and Latinos? This comment here was left underneath that video. I had actually addressed Afro-Latinos in my video, but a friend of mine called me and it muted the video, which I didn't realize, so I had to cut it out later. Anyways, as someone who works with a lot of Afro-Latinos, let me tell you that whenever I ask them about all of these kind of programs, the majority of them have told me that as Afro-Latinos, they feel safer and more welcome and more included when it comes to black programs that are, again, designed for black and brown or black and Latinos or whatever they're called, than they feel when they go to Latino founder communities. Which totally makes sense considering how colorist our community is. And that's exactly a reason why it's important to build intersectionally safe spaces and not safe spaces or support groups or whatever they call themselves that are by design othering the very group that they're saying they're supporting.
Join me as I dive into the challenge of celebrating black achievements and exploring why self-loving Hispanics should stand in solidarity with this incredible journey. Black excellence is more than just a phrase, it's a movement that celebrates the achievements and contributions of black individuals in various fields. It's about recognizing the struggles, the obstacles, and the triumphs of the black community, and honoring their impact on society as a whole. As Hispanics, embracing black excellence is not only a sign of solidarity, but also a way to deepen our understanding of self-love and community pride. Unfortunately, both black and Hispanic communities face challenges in recognizing and celebrating each other's achievements. One of the main barriers is the lack of representation and visibility in mainstream media. For instance, black individuals are often underrepresented in leading roles, and when they are, their stories are often watered down or stereotyped. Similarly, Hispanic individuals are often relegated to secondary roles, and their stories are rarely told from their own perspective. This lack of representation creates a disconnection between the two communities, making it harder to celebrate each other's achievements. Another challenge is the internalized racism and biases that exist within both communities. Some Hispanics may view black individuals as other, or may hold biases against them. Similarly, some black individuals may view Hispanics as not black enough or may have biases against them. These biases can lead to a sense of disconnection and disunity, making it harder to recognize and celebrate each other's achievements. Furthermore, there's a lack of education and awareness about the shared struggles and histories of both communities. Many Hispanics may not be aware of the significant contributions black individuals have made to the civil rights movement, or the ways in which black individuals have been impacted by systemic racism. Similarly, many black individuals may not be aware of the ways in which Hispanics have been impacted by colonialism, imperialism, and xenophobia. Additionally, there's a need for more intentional efforts to create spaces for dialogue and collaboration between black and Hispanic communities. This can involve organizing events, workshops, and conferences that bring together individuals from both communities to share their experiences, struggles, and achievements. Let's take a look at some specific examples of Black excellence in various fields. In the world of sports, we have athletes like Serena Williams, who has broken down barriers and stereotypes, and has used her platform to speak out against racism and sexism. In the world of literature, we have authors like Toni Morrison, who has given voice to the Black experience and has helped to shape the literary canon. In the world of music, we have artists like Kendrick Lamar, who has used his platform to speak out against police brutality and systemic racism. These achievements are not just a testament to individual talent and hard work, but also to the resilience and determination of the Black community as a whole. By celebrating these achievements, we can inspire and empower Hispanic individuals to pursue their own passions and goals, and to recognize the value of their own contributions to society. One powerful moment that illustrates the impact of celebrating Black achievements on Hispanic self-identity and community unity is the story of a young Hispanic girl who was inspired by the life and legacy of Rosa Parks. This girl was so moved by Parks' courage and determination that she began to learn more about the civil rights movement and the ways in which Black individuals have been impacted by systemic racism. As she learned more, she began to see the connections between her own experiences as a Hispanic individual and the experiences of Black individuals, and she began to feel a sense of solidarity and community with Black people. This story highlights the importance of creating spaces for dialogue and education, where individuals from different backgrounds can come together to learn from each other and celebrate each other's achievements. By doing so, we can break down barriers and biases, and create a more just and equitable society for all. In conclusion, celebrating Black excellence is not only a way to recognize the achievements of Black individuals, but also a way to deepen our understanding of self-love and community pride as Hispanics. By embracing Black excellence, we can create a more inclusive and equitable society, where individuals from all backgrounds can thrive and reach their full potential. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about cultural connections and community unity, be sure to check out our next video, where we'll be exploring the power of Afro-Latinx identity.